to another edition of Zero Block 30. I'm Uncle Chaps. I'm joined as always by my good friends Kate and Cons. We got Nick in the producing role. I haven't done an introduction on the show in a long time. It's been a while.
I
right?
know.
This is who we are.
I know. It felt like almost back to the old school Chaps and Kate show. Well, welcome back to the edition of the Chaps and Kate show. I'm Uncle Chaps, joined as always by Kate Filet Mignon. Anyways, we have 4 rounds of the magazine today. Round number 1. A vet saved a cat born with a defect so severe that it'll make you cry when you hear about it. Round number 2, guess that rank. USAA denied a claim of an active duty Marine whose government housing was flooded. $14,000 damage. He should be fine though, right? Because he has renter's insurance. Round number 3, we're about to have hybrid drones, which will kill you on land or on sea. Incredible. Round number 4, grandparents are weird. What they eat is even weirder. Has absolutely nothing to do with the military, but I got this tweet thread going this week, and some of the responses harken me back to my young childhood days, sitting down, eating a big old bowl of boiled peanuts with sweet tea with my grandpa. So it was lovely. I mean, if you're from the South in the time period of the Great Depression, the things that you eat, bizarre. I mean, just flat out bizarre.
Big time necessity eating, though. That was all they had available. It's not necessarily, oh, this is a delicacy. It was, this is what we ate because this is all we had, and we just kept doing it. A habit.
And they made it taste good. Like there's some certain things that you don't eat now, but even some southern spots down here will still have it, like chicken gizzards. I don't know what the fuck a gizzard is, but that was one of my dad's favorite food, which is just essentially, I think, livers of chickens fried.
Chickens insides, maybe.
I
mean, you can fry anything in there.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
It does. I feel like poor people food, I say that in quotes, always winds up like 50 years later getting elevated by chefs, and then it becomes a fancier thing, you know?
Well, so shrimp and lobster. That's what that was.
That used to be, the bottom feeders.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but they used to give that to prisoners. Like it would wash up on the shore, and they would give lobster to like the inmates.
Yeah. And but do you know how it became a delicacy?
Large Barstool was the one that brought that around.
Yeah, he made the ship. How, Cons?
Well, it was actually, so people would go to these coastal states, specifically in the Northeast, and they would have the lobster because it was obviously so abundant. And then they would leave and they had no access to it. So the more scarce it became for people in other parts of the country is how it became and elevated to where it is that we know it today as an expensive dish.
Fancy.
Which is exactly why people from France and very specifically Paris will travel to Louisiana so they can get some crawfish. Mud bugs, they call them. Yeah, they love them. Those French people, they love going down there and having some etouffee. All right, so we have a big show. I'm excited about some of the things that we have to talk about, mainly this cat. But before we do that, I want to say a special shout out to all the listeners, all the people on social media who donated this week whenever I went up to Minnesota to do some golfing. Great time with some great folks up there. Being able to essentially have everybody else move off the golf course, and it was just veterans. The amount of beautiful fuck bombs that were dropped there was just absolutely chef's kiss. I mean, because usually somebody will say fuck on the golf course if they have an errant drive, and they'll be like, sorry, like because some people around are persnickety.
Oh yes, it's uncouth.
Yeah, some of these folks are dropping, you motherfucking pussy ass, bitch ass ball, god damn it. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That checks out.
Yep.
How was it, Chaps? You were like, 5 hours into the day, and I'm like, oh, what hole is he on? And you're like, I'm only on 36. And I'm like, oh my God, he's got to get to 100. Oh my God. And I texted you in the evening, and you were still going and going and going.
I think the final number that we got to, and I'll have to ask John, but I think it was 67 is where we ended up on. And we ended up there, one, because it was starting to get darker and you couldn't really see. And two, my back was so fucked. I mean, that is so many, that's 67 holes. Like that's almost a full ass golf tournament for pros. Like 72 holes is a full ass tournament. And I'm not getting a par 3 in 3 shots. I'm hitting the par 3 like 5 shots, 6 shots, especially during the end of the day when we're trying to drive it and bomb it down and you're playing best ball and you're trying to hit it far to impress your new buddies. My back, by the end of the time, I got an Uber. And first of all, the Uber driver that I get in the first one, reeks of weed. Just absolute reeks of weed.
We don't weed shame.
And Camel menthol cigarettes. It was horrific. And she was smoking this blunt in the car. Like normally, if I know you, like I would get in the car with Coley Mick. Coley Mick's having a joint. Coley Mick's fine to drive for the most part, unless he's like just absolutely high out of his mind. I don't know this lady, so I immediately get back out. I'm like, I'm not riding with you. You're clearly very high. I'm not going to knock you out to anybody, but I'm getting the fuck out of this one, calling another Uber. And she was like, oh, yeah, no, I totally get it. So I think she realized that she had smoked a little bit, but I had the Uber drive me to a Walmart. There was a Walmart on the way back to my hotel. I picked up a foam roller because I knew I was going to need it that night in the hotel. I went back to my hotel room, foam rolled, left the foam roller in the hotel room. Because I mean, you're not going to fly back with a $6 foam roller.
You're not checking. I ended up feeling good. Roller.
We made a bunch of money for the veteran causes. It was awesome. The people that were there, beyond kind. I'm looking forward to do it again next year. It's a good event.
It sounds cool. I'll tell you though, man, most, casual golfers, even golfers that are very into the game, they don't play that many rounds over the course of a weekend. If you're just an absolute nut and you have nothing else to do, you play a lot, but to go in and play anything more than I'd say 36 is absolutely preposterous. So the fact that you made it to 67 in the course of one day, how many hours straight was that?
I got to the course at 5:30 that morning and left at around 7 that night.
Yeah. See, for me, there's just a lot of diminishing returns at that point where it's not even fun anymore. Cause I'm so tired.
It wasn't fun.
Yeah.
After about the only thing that was fun was like, okay, we got to do this. And that moment where I've talked about it before when I was in Sergeant's course and you're on this little 5-mile run, you're getting ready to come back and go and home. Oh yeah, go and home. And you have that moment. And then whoever the platoon sergeant is like, oh no, we're actually not going home. We're take a right. And you're like, motherfucker. I did that to our group. So we were like, all right, hole 66. That's it. We're done. It's a par 3. All of us will have good shots. We all did have good shots. We all, I believe, parred it. Like, and after playing that many holes to come away with the par was pretty good. And then I was like, we're going to do the par 5 back. And they're like, fuck. No. And nobody wants to be the one to bitch out.
Right.
So we did it. And then we went back in and had a good time having some drinks and stuff. It was a great time, a great call. So it was fun.
Nice.
Kate also had some big time drama this week. I'm glad safety is paramount. So I'm glad that all of your fire alarms are in working order. But you were up. I know something is awry. When I go on Instagram, I go to Kate's stories and it just looks like she's writing fucking Morse code on the top of her story.
Yeah, I had like 30 something posts. My mind snapped last night. We finally got the baby to sleep, which has been a real struggle lately. And we finally got him to fall asleep. And right when he fell asleep, one of our fire alarms started going beep, beep.
New battery.
There should be something in that. They need to develop a fire alarm where if it's going to go low, it knows when the daytime is and it starts at like noon.
Yeah. Yeah. Please let it. Yeah. That would be for the best. So now I'm freaking out. I'm trying to find it as fast as I can to keep the baby asleep. So I'm looking all over the place, every ceiling, every like inch of things. I start posting on Instagram. I'm like, somebody help me. Pat takes down all the alarms he can find, takes them out onto the patio and takes all the batteries out. So we know for sure it's not those. And it's still going. And it sounds like it's coming from different areas of the apartment as we move around. You guys
are fighting with fire alarms like it's that chicken on Family Guy where it just keeps going and going and going.
It was making us crazy. And of course, with each one, I'm like, this is the one that's going to wake the baby. So people are messaging me, sometimes they put it underneath the sink. Sometimes I had an Airbnb where it was in the closet.
I put it in the sink.
What good is that?
I have no idea. I swear to God, that was the DM I got. So I'm checking under the sink.
Did you look in your butthole? It's right there in your butthole.
I'm in every single closet that we had. I was waiting for the beeps. We could not figure it out. And finally, there's this one door that we always keep open because Spork needs access to his litter box. So we can never let it even like accidentally close because the cat will shit and piss somewhere else in the house. And it was like a foot off the ground behind that door, like on the ground.
I've never seen anything like that before.
It looked like a prank. Like I was like, this is a classic Kate goof.
No, it was very real. And I was
there it is underneath my doormat.
But I mean, it took us a solid, we probably sound dumb saying this, but it took me like 45 minutes to find it. And I was on the verge of tears because I'm like, we're going to have to go to sleep. And that's going to be going all night. Like none of us are going to be able to sleep. This is going to be a nightmare. And I had like a busy day lined up today. So like, oh my God, but we finally found it. So that was a huge plus. Also another big thing, went to the Meadowlands.
Yeah.
I need to know,
I need to know what was going on there because I've never known anyone to go to that flea market. So I need to understand why you went to that flea market.
Yeah. There is this giant flea market that takes place in the parking lot of MetLife Stadium where the Jets and Giants play. It has gone all year round, every Saturday since 1991. It is a 30-year-old flea market, and it is huge. It's enormous. And I mean, because the parking lot, it's the Meadowlands fucking parking lot, is huge. And every time I'm hitting the highway on the weekends, I see it as we pass on the on-ramp, and I'm like, God, I want to go to that flea market. Well, finally, over the weekend, we went. And my God, if you want to find military supply from the Korean War, from like the Revolutionary War, you'll find there was like ancient, everything was ancient, but we found this one guy.
MRE's in a can? What the fuck is this?
I know. Moe's, I think it was like Moe's Military Supply or something like this. The man looked like Ron Jeremy got puffed up with air or something like that. The guy was one of the most New Jersey ass characters I have ever seen. He had on
he looked like he'd be the executive producer of a porn that was shot for the purpose of Boogie Nights.
Exactly. He was this big man with a big round face and huge black like Elvis hair /
caterpillar eyebrows.
He had on a Star of David and a crucifix. He was just like a man. He was a man of like every.
You need to get that man a fucking crescent moon.
And he had all this military stuff. He had these billy clubs that would shock you, like taser clubs and all this stuff. Pat was in heaven. A pistol / crossbow, that all this other stuff. But anyways, I want to go back. So many people online were like, you got to talk to this man. That hopefully for ZBT one of these Saturdays, I'll head back there and see if he wants to talk to us, because he was. Everybody loved it.
Flea markets would be a hit blog series.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. The amount of characters at that flea market, I'm sure we're abundant.
You should try to hit every flea market on the Eastern Seaboard.
And do a raid. That'll be, Dave does pizzas, Glenny Balls does burgers. I'll do Katie flea markets. Old Katie.
Oh, let's see. Let's go through the records, see what they got. Oh, Freddie Higgins, unbelievable.
It was cool, though. I have to admit, it was pretty. It was a sad scene and a neat scene at the same time.
And what a perfect transition, because Kate, the lowest enlisted on the show, the junior ranking member, was at a flea market at the Meadowlands parking lot. Meanwhile, the officer in the group was drinking wine in Napa Valley.
Oh yes, indeed. What a fantastic!
We really do fit our ranks big time.
Truly,
on this show.
Yeah,
play the roles.
Absolutely.
We play the roles, and it's not.
I got pregnant out of wedlock.
Yeah,
perfect.
It really is just kind of funny how life works out that way. But no, so we went out for one of our friends' 30th birthdays. I will say this: it's a great place to go, but wait until you're a little bit older, because I think you'll appreciate it more. And also, if you want to do it the right way, I think it's just a tad on a little more expensive side if you do it. Like we had a driver Friday.
I was so glad your fiance was there too, because I was like, a boys trip to Napa is just fucking weird.
No, that would have been very odd. No, it was myself and Alex, another couple, and then two of our other friends. And it was for one of the friends' 30th birthdays. But we had a very nice driver on Friday and Saturday to take us to all the wineries. Shout out to Assad. Very nice. I thought you were going to say
Uber Debbie.
No. Yeah. Uber Debbie didn't make the trip. Some very nice dinners. And it really just was unbelievable how beautiful and breathtaking Napa is, just as a geography, as a place. I will say I learned so much more about wine. Our guy Glenn at Delgado Vineyard, the first day we got there, he taught me so much. Like I had a decent understanding of wine prior to this, but he taught me things. If you thought I was obnoxious before, wait till the next time we're out to dinner and I start dropping wine facts on your head.
No,
I'm not going to do that. I'm automatically out.
A lot.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking.
I mean, I couldn't believe I was getting all these texts about cons just really going off about how good Napa's Moscato was. I was like,
big Moscato guy, right?
Yeah, yes. Huge. He fucking loves it. I was like, you really like that? He's like, well, I add a little bit of simple syrup to it, but usually it's pretty good. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
At one point though, I saved the bird's life. So I come out of the shower. I'm the last to shower on Friday before we're getting ready to have our adventure for that day. And I got to credit my friend Courtney. She described Napa kind of like Disneyland for adults because each vineyard's a little bit different. Mm-hmm. So it's not a lot of monotony. Everybody's different characters.
Well, if you saved a bird, sounds like you're at Animal Kingdom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
True. So I come out of the shower and everybody's outside. And my one buddy, Andrew, is like, be careful, there's a dead bird over there. So I walk towards this really big window in the kitchen and I look down the
Naturally, as a soldier, I grabbed a stick and went to go poke at it a little bit.
Eventually I grabbed a broom to be my weapon of choice. But
it was on a windowsill.
I walked towards the bird and I noticed the bird's eye is open. I'm like, wait a second. And then right when I got close, it started flapping his wings. So I think he just dazed himself and then was just trying to fly through the window, clearly because he doesn't understand windows, stupid birds. But I eventually was able to coax him into a plant. And then I lifted the plant up and slowly walked it outside. And then the bird flew away. All better. No bird in the house.
Poured a teeny little bit of Moscato in its little yellow beak. Just a little.
Hey, baby birded it just a little bit. If you want a baby bird something into your lover's mouth, maybe go with one of those 3-cheek gummies because they are incredible. They are the industry leader in Delta 8 THC products, and all products are formulated by a biochemist and made in the USA with USA growing hemp. 3-Cheese Delta 8 is a federally legal version of THC and a more functional alternative to marijuana. It gives an amazing buzz and a great body feel with a clear head and less anxiety. And I'll even say this, it makes peeing at night so much fun. I don't understand why, but when I've had a couple of vapes of 3G, I need the 3G scientists to come on. I need them to explain the amount of piss that I currently have. Because I'm not the most hydrated of fellows, but the amount of pee that I have when I have 3G, so much fun.
I feel like you're drinking water throughout the day.
I mean, a little bit. I mean, I'm not like down in canteens like I'm about to hit the rack at boot camp or anything. But you can go to 3G, the number 3CHI.com to shop for Delta 8 vapes, gummies, tinctures, and oils that can be used to make homemade edibles. I get a lot of DMs that ask me what is my go-to if somebody was going to buy one product, what product should they get for 3G? I'm going to say the vapes because it hits you hard. And if you're not used to doing any type of THC products, it hits you harder right away. The edibles, if you aren't familiar with them, you'll be like, oh, it's not working. I'll take another one. It's not working. I'll take another one. Next thing you know, you have a little bit of spinsies and you can't even do a podcast with your pals. You don't want to do that. You don't want to get caught in that. So just do the vapes. It's great. 3G.com with the promo code ZBT 2021 to get 5% off your next order. Let's get going with the actual show. This one, first up, Kate sent me a story earlier this week, and I love it. It's just absolutely incredible. It comes to us from our good friends in Toronto. We got 2 stories about folks being Canadian nice. Nope, that's a lie. One of them I actually blogged about today, so you can go check that out on the blog too. But it says, a young kitten born with an incredibly rare birth defect may get a new lease on life thanks to the effort of a Toronto rescue organization and cat lovers around the world. Dora, an adorable little tortoise shell, recently came to the Annex Cat Rescue at the tender age of just 8 weeks old, just slapping up some milk like a little cutie patootie. On June 9th, Dora was brought to the vet because she was showing signs of severe constipation. Oh. Kate, as the resident cat expert, how does a mama cat get the kitten to poop?
I thought you were going to say as a resident constipation expert, because when I was pregnant, I was constipated. I could not.
And the only mom on the show, so you should definitely know this.
Yeah, horrible. But the mama cat licks the kitten's beeholes to get them to poop.
That's exactly right.
Yep,
yeah,
that's true. It stimulates their little butts and they poop.
What?
Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly right. Unfortunately, Dora was diagnosed with an extremely rare birth defect, an imperforated anus. In other words, she was born without a butthole. Prior to a revelatory. Yeah, you don't see that word that often.
No,
but it is a good one.
Not enough.
Revelatory veterinarian visit. Dora had miraculously survived all 8 weeks of her life without even having a single bowel movement.
8 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
Pooping. 8 weeks.
Oh, this baby. Next little sentence breaks your heart. She gets in the litter box and tries.
I know.
It's precious.
Honestly, that's what it's like when you're wearing a diaper. Like, I really feel that way. I think that's why babies get so angry, because it just for science purposes, so you can understand what I'm saying on the podcast, I encourage everyone to go get a diaper and try to take a shit in it.
No.
It's almost like you have somebody's hand pressing it back in where you can't get it out. It's unbelievable. It's so frustrating. That's exactly what this little kitten must have been going through. But they raised $6,500 for a complicated surgery to remove the painful and life-threatening amount of fecal matter built up in her colon, as well as to construct an anus. I mean, imagine going to a bar and you're sitting there, you have a scotch in your hand. It's a place where you can do cigs inside, and your hand has that little bit of a shake. And you go,
I
what's
know
wrong?
this well.
What's wrong? Well, today I had to construct a kitten anus.
Yeah.
The amount of poop you wouldn't believe.
And knowing too, as the veterinarian, that the cat is already viral online, it's raised thousands of dollars.
So
People
much
are
pressure.
so invested in how this cat does. Yeah. Anyway,
So much pressure. So
yeah, it's a lot
Dora
of pressure.
still,
They
she still hasn't. They say that she still hasn't pooped and may need another surgery, and they're trying to declog her. And enemas aren't even working. The rescue is asking for a little bit more help. So if you want to help this cat, you just need to go Google search this cat, give him some money, because God damn it, this cat needs the shit.
I know. Somebody help this cat shit. And they've raised, it says they raised over 10,000 in just a few days. The last time I checked, they raised like, I want to say like almost $18,000, which obviously some of that's going to go to the kitten, but a lot of it's going to go towards that shelter too, that does so much good. So it was just a feel good story. Classic Canada being nice up there, but it is nice that people, it's such a sweet little kitten too. A tortoiseshell kitten, I feel like, is rare, that black and caramel color mixed together, but she's so sweet. Little Dora.
All right.
Godspeed with your little butthole.
Quickly, Nick, what does this story have to do with the military?
I mean, I feel like it could do a lot with it, but I think for this instance, nothing to do with the military. But
In
I
fact,
mean,
It's a vet wordplay.
It could be a vet wordplay, but also I was thinking how we deal with constipation from MREs.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
We don't construct new buttholes, but it'd be nice.
so
We
they
need to get a
back,
corpsman out here to see if they know how.
so MREs back everyone up.
Oh yeah.
Big time. Yeah.
They're
If you
kinda
eat MREs
designed
for
to.
enough day in a row, you can end up shitting an actual brick.
I don't know if it's true, but I was told they were designed to stock you up so that when you're out in the field, you're not pooping. You're just working.
Yeah, you don't have diarrhea. It's almost impossible to get diarrhea from MREs.
Till later. Till you have your first
Exactly
beer
right.
when you get back. Yeah. that's
All
where I'm
right.
going.
Let's move on to round number 2. What do we got for round 2, Kate? With that one, honestly, should have been round number 2 because it's about number 2.
Number 2, right. Well, but there's no number 2 though. You know what I mean? So I guess now we'll go.
True.
This one comes to us from Task and Purpose. A U.S. Marine and his family have been stuck with a $14,000 bill from a private military housing company, and they're worried others could face similar burdens, even if they have renter's insurance. Major Richard Salchow and his wife Colleen had been away from their home at Camp Pendleton for about 5 hours.
Pendleton.
Woo! About 5 hours on
Okinawa.
January 16th when they returned to find their floors flooded. Their washing machine had malfunctioned during a load while they were out and left a 1/4 inch of water covering the entire first floor. They immediately started vacuuming up the water and contacted their landlord, Lincoln Military Housing, to report the issue, but by then it was too late. The valve between the washer and the water supply had broken and sent so much water leaking throughout the house that it affected the drywall and led to bubbles underneath their linoleum floors. I didn't even know what a water valve was until I had a repair technician come out, Richard said. Lincoln Military Housing, which owns more than 6,000 homes on the coastal Marine base, secured temporary lodging for the couple within a few hours. And the Salchows were
getting them into a place a couple hours. That's awesome.
Yep, pretty great. The Salchows were confident things would be taken care of promptly, considering the company had outright replaced a faulty dishwasher, stove, and refrigerator in the past. Anytime you call, they fix it, Colleen said. Fortunately, repairs began a few days later and the couple was able to move back in before the end of the month. But Lincoln said they'd have to file a liability claim for the flooding since it was caused by a washer owned by the family. I thought, okay, we're good because we have a $100,000 liability policy. So there's no way the repairs could be more than $100,000, said Richard. And he's a logistics officer with First Mar Div, by the way, more than 11 years
And a major,
of service.
so he's been in for a while.
It's been around the block.
11 years. So he asked Lincoln for work invoices and began reaching out to his insurance company, USAA.
Love their
they're-
commercials.
Everybody touts as being the best like military insurance that there is.
True.
I have to tell
Great
you,
customer
maybe
service.
sorry if they're going to sponsor us in the future, but
They're not. They've
I
already said no several times.
I switched to them for my car insurance and my rates actually went way up. So it's kind of a bummer. Anyways, the renter insurance policy documents said damage to base housing was covered as long as he was on active duty at the time and the house was government controlled. Yet that was the problem. An out of control load of laundry led to repairs totaling $14,377.40.
All right, Kay.
South Chow's, like many families these days, lived in what's called a public-private venture, where the government owns the land, but the house itself is leased by a private company, which then gets rented to service members in exchange for their military housing allowance.
I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah.
This is interesting. I didn't know this existed.
So the home that you rent from Lincoln Military Housing is not considered government housing.
What
according to
Tell them that whenever you want to come inspect it. When your
Uh-huh.
command wants to come inspect it, be like, if my rental insurance doesn't cover it because it's not government housing, then it's not because your dumbass wants to come in here.
Yep.
Mhm.
So a USAA representative told Richard this back in February. While Lincoln and many other entities are located on bases, they are companies which contract with the government to lease the land, build the residences, and manage the facilities. As the location where you live is not considered government housing, the provision does not apply. A USAA official declined to comment on the specifics of the South Chow's case, but the company offers renters insurance that covers damage caused by water. So they are not going to cover this so Richard said, I asked USAA if I could have elected additional coverage for our policy, and he indicated that I didn't decline any coverage. So he had the most full of the spectrum coverage, and he's still getting, I'll say it, screwed by USAA.
Big time.
That fucking sucks.
And by Lincoln Housing, honestly,
Mhm.
because you really don't have a choice. They have the hookups. You have to bring in a washer and dryer. What the fuck are you supposed to do? Like,
You're in
that's
a no
part
man's
of
land.
right. You really are. And they went on to say that they have a good neighbor policy and give them $1,000, but that's not $14,000.
They still owe $13,000. That's just absolutely insane. And then,
And contrary to popular belief, majors make a nice salary, but 14,000, that's still a pretty big nut.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
there's-
$14,000 is a lot for anybody. The part of the story that really pissed me off is that even in stories like this, they try to give some shine for some reason to the high-ranking officer, like the Brigadier General Conley. He said he has monitored and directed the advocacy efforts of the Military Housing Office and ordered an information campaign about renters insurance as a way to protect the unforeseen circumstances caused by environmental or use-related incidents that damage either person's belongings or physical property. That doesn't do shit. If you are the base general, you have so much authority over the contracts that go on your base.
Right.
And the fact that he's not telling Lincoln Housing, eat this fucking money, or we'll find somebody else. Like, eat the money.
Yeah, it's possible that Lincoln Housing was on post for a long time now, well before that Brigadier
Oh,
General
they for sure are. They've been
Yeah.
they've had the government contract for like
doesn't
25 years.
excuse, like, lean into those stars a little bit, sir, and
Right.
go to bat for
An
this major.
information campaign. Who gives a fuck?
So yeah, so it doesn't happen again in the future. But what about
But
this?
he
major?
did everything that he possibly could. This major
Right.
did everything.
He did it everything
And this
right.
story is really out there because it's a major. I mean, if this was a PFC or a Lance Corporal that was dealing with the same type of thing, the same amount of damage, how the fuck is a PFC or Lance Corporal supposed to pay $14,000?
No
and
shot.
nobody would
impossible.
care if it happened to them. They'd really
Right.
be screwed.
Yeah, no,
and probably
unfortunately,
get NJP'd on top of it.
I was just
Right.
going to say they would probably place the blame on them somehow. Like, well, they should have known better. Well, not necessarily. Obviously, clearly, if this major didn't know about this loophole and got screwed, so don't put it on the
And
individual.
nobody knows better, honest to God. Like, you think you buy renter's insurance, you think that you have renter's insurance. Like, that's the thing with renter's insurance.
Sure.
I would bet if you took a poll of everybody who lives in base housing, I would bet 75% of them don't have renter's insurance,
Probably.
at
Yeah.
least.
Mm-hmm.
USAA.
And that's probably very high. It's like 75% is probably high. I would say probably closer to 90.
So I think what USAA should do, and if anybody is listening that works at USAA, let them know. I think what they should do, seriously, is just make an exception for this one time and say, okay, going forward, though, we won't honor this. But in this
I don't think
case,
they should do that. I think
they
they
should
should
change
say
their
if you get
fucking
insurance,
policy.
yeah, if you get renter's insurance, no matter where you're renting, you have renter's insurance.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
I,
Like,
absolutely
it's kind of
crazy.
like car insurance. Like, you don't look at my car insurance and be like, you are insured to just drive your Tundra. I'm insured to drive any vehicle I want to.
And to me, it's such shitty. To me, if I'm USAA, it's such a no-brainer PR move to take care of this family, this military family with 11 years of service in military housing with a family. Like, no shit. Like, that just is a really bad
throw
look.
out $1,000.
Yeah, exactly. You'd rather
I'd
just
almost rather
nothing.
not get anything than $1,000.
Take some of the money I'm throwing at you for my car that's taken too much money, and then send it over to that family.
I will say, I am surprised that they just won't, because $14,000 is a drop in the bucket for them. Just give them the 14 grand and go on your way.
One run like half of a shitty commercial less and during a football game on a Sunday. That's all you really need.
I wish I could give that kitten a beehole and take away USAA's butthole.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to worry about USAA if you're covered through SimpliSafe. They're going to protect your home even if it floods. I don't know if they can do anything about that, so strike that, reverse it. But remember the feeling you got as a kid getting tucked into bed, or the feeling you get now in the arms of someone you love. Safe and secure. It's a feeling of security that comes through a human connection. And we at SimpliSafe are also feeling that need. Of course, SimpliSafe has an award-winning system that has all the technologies, bells, and whistles you'd expect to see these days, to include fire alarms for our lovely Kate Mannion. But the people at SimpliSafe will really take it to the next level. They're around the clock anytime you might need them. And the thing is, SimpliSafe just makes it so easy. It's about 2 minutes to customize a system on their website, whether it's fire, burglary, a medical emergency, a burst pipe, or even a laundry system. SimpliSafe has a person with the expertise you need 24/7. And when you know there's someone there to help, that's a feeling that gives you ease. And it's also easy to get SimpliSafe by going to simplisafe.com/ZBT today to customize your security system and get a free security camera. You can get a 60-day risk-free trial too, so there's nothing to lose. That's simplisafe.com/ZBT. Let's move on to, that was a good ad read.
That was very good.
Well done.
That was very good.
Let's move on to round number 3, where we're going to be talking about Weirdo Drones from the Navy. Last week we gave the Navy a little bit of shit because they have bug people. They have folks that just study bugs in the Navy, but this time they're doing it a little bit different, and they're going to have a little bit of, I'd say, hybrid drones. So this one comes to us from The Drive. The U.S. Navy appears to be taking a cue from Mother Nature by seeking to develop bio-inspired autonomous systems that mimic or leverage characteristics of the natural world to accomplish Navy missions. Specifically, the U.S. Navy's fiscal year 2022 budget requests close to $30 million for the developing of a biocentric or bio-inspired technology such as unmanned underwater vehicles that can move, school, blend in with their surroundings, and sense their environments in ways that are similar to living creatures that inhabit the seas. Basically, they're building dolphin bird robots, is what they're doing. And there was a video that was floating around. The actual Navy posted it in 2014. And I included it here so you guys can see it on YouTube and on the social clips if we put that part out. But there is a whale. And it looks like a whale shark that's like swimming around in the waters off of, by Pendleton. But now they want to do one that it can fly in the air and then go into the water.
That's dope.
That is the greatest MOS. If you're like, what do? I'm a drone pilot. Oh, well, what kind of drone? Both. I do submarine and flying ones.
Again, 23-year-old Kate at the bar. I'm going home with that person.
Probably.
Exactly right. The Navy, it goes on to say the Navy proposed this budget released on May 28th, and it contains 2 line items for the Navy's research and development and evaluation justification book. They want to spend $9.45 million and $15.99 million, which tells you what about this program?
Not that important.
It's not going to work.
Yeah, we need trillions. We need trillions.
I was gonna say that sounded very low.
Numbers. You got to bump those numbers up.
Yeah.
9.5 million. 9.5 million. We spend more money on fucking number 2 pencils than 9.5 million. That's nothing.
Maybe it's they're trying to just sneak it in there and not get noticed with these inconspicuous numbers.
Listen to this try-hard fucking Naval Academy graduate, I assume, that wrote this blog about what they put in for their budget. Listen to this this is such a word salad. This is exactly, people want to talk about, Dan Crenshaw wants to have his little woke hotline. This paragraph is exactly what's wrong with the military. The aim of the bio-inspired autonomous system to extract principles of sensory monitor, control, biomechanics, fluid dynamics of underwater propulsion, and control in the aquatic amphibious animals that underlie the agility, strength, efficiency, and sensory applications of these animals. The principles that emerge from this interdisciplinary research are formalized and explored in advanced prototypes. The goal of this program is to expand the operational envelope of the Navy underwater and amphibious vehicles that enable enhanced underwater manipulation. What the fuck did you just say?
There's way too many 4 and 5 syllable words. Way too many.
Here's the thing: when you write something like that, you just sound like, I think you sound like more of an idiot, because you just sound like you just Googled and a synonym for what you actually want to say.
Right-click thesaurus. Right-click thesaurus.
All you had to say instead of that paragraph is robot dolphins bitches.
Flying robot dolphins.
Flying robot dolphins bitches.
And we're in.
And you're just like, how much do you need?
Cool.
$100 million.
Here's a blank check.
Sold.
Have at it.
Sold.
Right.
Yeah.
Disappointing. But I would love to hang out and play with one, because they look so fun in that video. They're very slow though. They got
the most exciting thing about that to me is that military technology almost inevitably gets transformed into civilian technology in some way or another. So I'd say by 10 years from now, my son will be riding around. He'll be flying around over the ocean on a dolphin, and he'll be diving around when he wants to. So he'll be using this to his own benefit soon.
I actually
Looking forward
just
to it.
Happen to come upon, I have a classmate who is a CEO of some company who does this he's like drones for water, basically. And I was like, wow, I didn't really know that there was a huge market for that, but apparently there is. And the Navy's paying not enough. Probably
not enough at all. I mean, when you're talking about trillions of dollars for that stupid F-35, and then this is what you get, I'd rather spend much more money on this.
I agree.
What you don't have to spend a lot of money on is coffee if you go with Black Rifle Coffee. It's a veteran-owned coffee company serving premium coffee to people who love America. Veteran CEO and founder Evan Heffer spent 7 years on the ground overseas in U.S. Special Forces as a CIA contractor. He even modified his gun trucks during the invasion of Iraq to grind coffee anywhere. Black Rifle Coffee is continually committed to supporting veteran law enforcement and first responder causes, and they import their high-quality coffee beans from all over the world. They have spots at coffee in Manchester, Tennessee, the Salt Lake City, Utah, and here in San Antonio, Texas. The best way to enjoy Black Rifle Coffee is enjoying the coffee club. You pick your perfect roast, and they're going to deliver it to your door. They take care of the rest. It's free to sign up and gives you free shipping, discounts on partner brands, and early access to new products and exclusive products. Go to blackriflecoffee.com/0, use the code 0 today and get the freshest coffee in America sent straight to your little dick skinners that you got right there. Let's move on to round number 4, where we're going to talk a little bit about grandparents. Now, when you guys used to go to your grandparents' house, did they have a special treat that you really only got at your grandparents' house that you can remember?
For my mom's mom, she would bring out toothpicks, raisins, tiny marshmallows, iceberg lettuce, and some other vegetables. And we would make toothpick people that we could eat, which is kind of fun. It'd be like real wacky.
Awesome. That's exactly what I mean. Yeah. Where it's not, if it's something that you're going to do by yourself, probably not. But that's something one day you for sure will do with cash.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I mean, it wasn't tasty. I mean, we're talking about like iceberg lettuce piece with a piece of marshmallow with a raisin with whatever.
But it didn't matter because you were happy doing it.
Exactly. I would eat the shit out of it. And then also she would get those Vienna ice cream cakes. Remember those things? And then French fries, alphabet French fries. That was also
I thought Vienna ice cream was like the fanciest ice cream you could possibly get.
So I was like, my granny must be doing pretty well.
Tiramisu, right? It's like tiramisu ice cream.
Oh, all these layers. And it was very fancy, very fancy. Yeah. So that was on her end. How about you, Cons?
Anytime I went to my Nana's house, my mom's mom, we always had root beer.
I'm also a Nana guy. Kate, Nana?
Granny.
Granny. Okay. Nick.
Nana.
Nona.
That's very Italian.
New Jersey Nick has a Nona, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's like I got like 5 Nonas in my house right now.
Yeah.
But we always had root beer floats. Didn't matter the time of year. It was always a root beer float. And also I always remember 4th of July. She always had the sheet cake that was made into an American flag with the strawberries and blueberries. And then at my my
slaps too.
Yeah,
that shit's so good.
Yes, it does.
At my grandmother's house, my dad's mom, she was really the first one that made me branch out when it came to sandwiches. Before then, I never really had onions. on a sandwich. And I remember one day she just made me a sandwich there, and I looked at it, and I don't know, maybe I was 8, and the thing looked weird as shit because there was a whole bunch of stuff on it that my mom and dad never put on me. Yeah, sorry. There was a whole bunch of ingredients that I never saw at home in terms of what was on my sandwich. But now I look back and I'm like, wow, that was a delicious ass sandwich.
Yeah. I mean, I used to do the same thing. I probably went 6 years with every day eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich at least once. Like that was my go-to. But my grandfather, Roscoe, is my mom's dad. He's still kicking. He's 90 years old now, had polio as a child. Wasn't supposed to live past like 50. I would have been, if you'd have polled me anytime in my life who was going to be the last surviving grandparent, Papa Lloyd would have came in dead last, like legit. But he's still kicking around. Like my other grandfather was active and doing all kinds of stuff. He died about 10 years ago now. My grandmother, Roscoe's wife, died about 2 years ago now. He's still out there kicking it and doing it. But I remember going to his house because they had so many Georgia roots. They love peaches. Anytime peaches were fresh and around, like they had Georgia peaches, he was buying some. And we would have peaches. He would cut up the peaches, put it into a bowl, cover it with just like granulated sugar, and then pour half and half over the top, little peaches and cream action. And we would sit there and eat that. If we had just worked in the yard and he'd let me ride on the back of his riding lawnmower, like around, and we were doing stuff and I was picking up satsumas, which are oranges in the area, like tangerine style, he would let me come inside and we'd have a snack that will make your dick absolutely rock hard. And that is an RC Cola and a moon pie. Like that was the way that we used to get down. The old RC Cola and a moon pie. That being said, the same generation, Cons, you're absolutely right. They fucking love onions. If you're over 65, you love onions. We're about to go through this tweet thread, and the most shocking, but also the most beautiful old man moment of any of them is one guy said to me, my grandfather was an onion farmer, and he lived in Vidalia, Georgia, which is known for their onions.
Right?
Yeah. So he said that he would go out to the local restaurants, would bring his own onion with him.
I saw that one. That was great.
So imagine just the flat being an onion farmer and be like, hold the onions. I bring my own.
Got my own.
God, imagine being the grandkid, like a teenage grandkid sitting there when there's like a cute waitress serving the table and all of a sudden your grandpa pulls his own onions out.
But I would hope, with all hope, that you love that moment, like because you're going to when you're in your 30s. But when you're 16, you're probably not going to appreciate it enough. But I wish you could go back and see all the quote embarrassing things that your grandparents do and realize them through the lens of your 30-year-old eyes, as opposed to whenever you're a teenager. I just think it's beautiful. So I went through and saw some of these, and you guys went through and saw some of the weird things that they eat. The first one, duck's blood soup, easily the grossest, but there was a weird mix in between. I mean, just having a little bit of duck's blood in soup, not great.
No,
I've never heard of that before in my life.
No, I just think blood as a soup doesn't sound that appealing, but I think it goes back to what we were saying before we started recording, how people of that generation, they just ate what was available.
And listen to what's in it. It's a sweet and sour soup made with poultry blood, so bird blood, vinegar, and dried fruit. Dried fruit.
Sure.
Is what's in it. So hard pass. No, thank you. Ugh.
No, thank you at all. Another one, this one is a super common one. They love tomato soup. They can't get enough of them on sandwiches.
Oh, yeah.
This guy says, my grandpa used to just cut a tomato in half, dip that thing in salt, and eat it just straight up like that.
My dad would cut a tomato, just sprinkle some salt on it, and he would just eat them plain. Did you ever see people put salt on apples?
No, never.
My dad was a big salt on apples guy.
I know people pour a little salt in their beer sometimes.
Yes,
I don't hate that move.
Yeah.
From time to time. Jared Hawkins with the banana and mayonnaise sandwich. I hate it now, but I can see that's where I'm headed. You know, I'm a huge mayonnaise lady.
When you get real old and instead of doing your mayonnaise sandwiches on the shore, you're going to incorporate the bananas because they're easier to chew as you get older. I could see you doing this.
So this one, the next one from old Donna, is definitely Kate when she gets older. First, it's a 2-part tweet. The first one I can get behind, just a piece of bologna around a dill pickle. I gotta be honest, that sounds fucking delightful.
That sounds, so I have to say, before we even continue, I went through a lot of these and I found myself saying, that's not that weird. I would actually eat that for a lot of them.
A lot of combinations that you wouldn't think about, but once you do, you're like, oh, that's not bad. Like a piece of deli meat around a pickle, especially if it's a little pickle, like the little Gersh ones. That's a money. I get
down with that.
But then the second part, this one is Kate. Stewed tomatoes out of the can. There must have been 20 cans of those, and they just cleaned out the house every time he went to the nursing home. They would bring him his cans too. I think that's Kate, but it's not going to be stewed tomatoes. It's going to be beets.
Beets. I have like no shit, like 20 cans in the cabinet right now, and I just crack them open whenever I want. And yeah, I can't believe my teeth aren't purple. I fucking love them.
I love how you incorporated whenever I want, as if somebody's there to stop you. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll whenever I want.
I'm a grown up. I can eat beets whenever I want. Yeah, it's a treat. I don't hate it.
I especially like this combo from Mark, who said brown beans over chocolate cake. I don't understand how you even get there.
I do. You ever eat the Bush's baked beans that are so sweet you get the diarrhea goosebumps halfway through? Just a couple bites of it.
I've had Bush's baked beans, and yes, they're fine, but I would never think, it'd be better
Bush's
with this.
Baked beans are a dessert, my friend. I'll say it right now. Brown beans, baked beans,
they're not.
That's a dessert food. And people are treating it like it's not.
If you put enough like brown sugar, because people do put brown sugar in their beans, but I'm not going to go as far as say it is a fucking dessert. I mean, imagine being a kid and you just had a nice, if you eat all of your fish and broccoli, you can have some dessert. Here's your dessert, a big old plate of baked beans. Thank you, mama, for the beans. Like, nobody's doing that.
That's
my kid has no frame of reference for anything. If I start doing that, he'll think it's normal.
Oh, that's a good point.
But then he'll go to school and find out he's the weird kid.
Well, that's
there's
gonna
so
happen
many things that we're trained like environmentally to believe. Like, I would like to know, I want to have one kid, almost like a Truman Show, where when somebody farts, everybody around is like, oh, that smells so good. And you like kind of waft it in to see if you can make a child believe that farts smell good.
Yes, you can do that with a lot of things.
Or does it stink because we've been trained to think that they stink?
Right. Well, every time growing up that we went by a farm, my dad, and they had just laid out manure, my dad would go, farmer's perfume. And so now I love the smell of like going through the front. It reminds me of like growing up and where I grew up as a kid. And
so then you like the smell of mulch as well?
Of like horse shit and mulch. Yeah, I do. I got to tell you, I'm a fan.
I love the power move from this old man. The guy said that his grandpa would go to the store, get a family bag size of chips, open it up as soon as he got it and leave it on the couch or leave it on the counter, and he wouldn't start eating them until they got stale. Like, he liked the stale chips better.
I could see that. That's just a texture thing that I can totally understand that, because certain things are better at different temperatures.
A DIY kettle chip.
Yeah, somewhat.
Really?
Somewhat.
Kate, I could see Kate liking this one. This feels like a very Kate treat. My grandma used to make banana croquets, which is bananas rolled in mayo, then covered in chopped peanuts and warmed.
I get it. I get it. I was preparing to hate that, and I don't.
I mean, I just with all these, I just think to myself, and the old adage, the verse from the Bible, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Last summer, we were doing a house randomly in Avalon, and we grilled the night before, and I was playing golf the next morning, and I woke up and I needed something to eat because it was one of those late nights, lot to drink. And we were heading to the golf course. So I was just kind of looking around the kitchen. What's available for me to make? Well, we have leftover grilled chicken. We have bread. We have some deli meat, and we have peanut butter, I think. I made a sandwich with grilled chicken, peanut butter, tomato, turkey, and mayonnaise. Now,
I'm reading some of these and feeling like legit sick, because you know how like KFC or lots of people do it. Like, you'll go buy a thing of peanut butter, take a scoop out, and just eat the spoonful of peanut
absolutely.
butter.
Yeah.
A guy said that his grandfather used to do this, but with liverwurst.
Oh.
No. Yeah, no, I'll draw the line there. No.
It's like cat food, man. That's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine your grandfather comes up to give you a hug after he's beating onions on fucking saltines with buttermilk and a spoonful of liverwurst?
And this is mean, and they can't help it, but old people breath is
it's just
rough,
bad, man.
Dude.
It's just bad.
Yeah.
We're all destined for it.
It's
We're all
true.
We are. We are definitely
Mm.
we are on our way there for sure. I was starting to think of I think the grossest thing that I'll eat, like if my kids do this in 20 years and they're on Twitter or whatever, mine for sure is the orange juice and chocolate chip cookies.
Yes, hands
Yeah,
down.
I hate that so much. I get
I
upset
hate
whenever
you
I
so
see a
much
tweet
when you
about it.
talk about it. I
Yeah, it
hate
makes
It's
me
even
sick to my
better with
stomach.
ruby red grapefruit juice.
Well, the crazy thing is people who don't know you think like, oh, he's just, oh, that's Chaps just being silly Chaps. And it's like, no, he's dead serious. He
Yeah.
really likes that.
Yeah.
I went one day, I was at a hotel, and like they have the breakfast that's out there, and sometimes they'll have those huge chocolate chip muffins that are out there. And
Otis
this
Spunkmeyer.
spot, yeah, like the Otis Spunkmeyer, but better, like with the huge chunks on there.
Mm.
I was sitting there with that, and I had 2 glasses of ruby red. This lady that was sitting across from me, I warmed up the muffin in the microwave, and I was sitting there, and so it was kind of like gooey chocolate coming out of it. And I took a bite of the muffin. I could see her like looking at me, and then I took a big drink of the ruby red. I legitimately thought she was gonna Feidelberg throw up, like watching it. Like, and I knew if I wasn't watching it, I was gonna end up being on Twitter or Instagram or something like, look at this fucking animal.
Because I know this woman's vantage point, and like I'm not shitting on you, Chaps, but I've probably said this 20 times on the show. Your face in general sometimes looks like it's the front of a truck that's gone through a bug storm. I don't know what you do.
Oh yeah, my glasses. I thought you were gonna be mean and call me ugly. I'll accept the glasses that they're dirty.
No, but I mean, your
I was
beard...
like, this is shaping up to be a very mean thing.
No, I look over and your glasses are all splattered, like you've been cooking with grease or something, and then all
they
this
are.
stuff.
Look,
all
Oh
over
my
it.
God, that's terrible.
Yeah, that's gross. And then your beard gets all this stuff.
Because I wear them all the time. It's like progressive dirty, I think. Like if like if you're not with a group of friends for a long period of time, and you miss a day of showering, like you, Kate, whenever during quarantine when you forgot to brush your teeth for like a month.
Oh, I'm still doing that. Forget it.
So you don't even notice that you're like, oh shit, what happened here? Oh, I missed another day. Fuck. Like it's that kind of thing with my glasses, because I wear them all the time. I don't even notice. And then when I do clean them off, I'm like, holy shit, I see so much better. This is incredible.
Yeah.
So I actually, in my house, I get yelled at sometimes when I mix certain things, because I don't know, like I'm weird. I just like to mix a lot of different things together, and it tastes good to me, and that's fine. And I'm not hurting anyone. I'm not committing any crimes.
Yeah, I'm definitely not one of those people that can't have food touch other food on your plate.
Right. Yeah. And I live with someone who is a very good chef, a very good cook, and she gets physically angry at me when she's like, no, get out of the kitchen. No. If that's what you're going to make for yourself, I'm going to make you something. I can't have you do that. It grosses me out.
Her.
Oh no, please don't make me something. That would be terrible.
Ah!
No, not today.
God forbid I live with a chef.
Exactly. All right, let's move on to save rounds and alibis, which is going to be presented by our good friends at Manscaped. If you want to shave your dick or pussy, you should do it with Manscaped. They got the Manscaped.
I'm doing mine on Friday. I'm finally.
Why is this on like your Google Calendar? Like, why Friday?
Because
you didn't come to a decision like, maybe I should knock this out today. Tomorrow,
no, because I know it's going to take a long time. I'll just be honest. Manscaped is going to need to step up. Thank God for them, because it's been
got a long
time.
battery. I will say that it's got a long battery. It'll last a while. Yep. So if you need to chop down the forest of Bob Ross's head that's between your legs, you can do that with manscaped.com. They are fantastic. Go to manscaped.com/0. You're going to get 20% off and free shipping with the code 0 at manscaped.com. Whether you want, this isn't an ad read, but some of their colognes they have is fantastic. Almost all the products they've had, I've very much enjoyed. They have this gel. It's a shaving gel just for the groin, because let's be honest, folks, one of the drawbacks of shaving your dick or your flaps down to the absolute scalp is the fact that you can get those little razor bumps. Nobody likes those, because then even though you look cleaner, you're walking around scratching yourself like your pig pen and your peanuts are all fucked up. You don't want to do that. Go to manscaped.com/0. You're going to get 20% off and free shipping, which is a fantastic deal. Let's move on to save rounds and alibis. Cons, we'll start with you. What do you got?
I got a few quick ones. Just hold on to your butts. Number one, $1 billion idea for an app with carbon monoxide and smoke detectors, an app that monitors the battery life and also tells you where they're located. So, you don't just hear beeping and walk around your house like a crazy person, not knowing where it's coming from.
Thank you.
Yes.
SimpliSafe does that already. If you want to go to simplisafe.com/0,
Perfect.
their
Perfect.
alarms already
Mhm.
have battery
Perfect.
life in there.
Boom. Perfect. Thank you, SimpliSafe.
And that's the reason why they are $1 billion company.
They beat me to it. They beat me to
They
it. I
really
was
did,
going to be
yeah.
relaxing on a beach, but SimpliSafe already beat me to it. Number 2, chaps.
If you're on the beach, your house will be protected by SimpliSafe as well.
That's right. That's correct. That's correct. Chaps, thank you. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for tucking your shirt in. For tucking your shirt in when you went to represent us at that golf tournament.
I only did it because I'm feeling very skinny. I've been getting so many compliments and I'm looking good. You know, I'm down to 188.
That's crazy.
Oh, Chapsy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're going in different directions these days.
Started quarantine, I was 225.
Wow.
Woo.
That's significant. That's significant. But maybe hopefully I can make it to that golf outing next year, Minnesota. Just I'm curious to see how many holes I could play before I would just
the whole squad. We'd have a nice little threesome out there.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that. I have to give number one. I just started Generation Kill. I had watched it like maybe one episode many years ago and then never kept it going. But so I finally decided, all right, I got to just watch this. I started episode 1 last night. I didn't finish it yet, but I think I'm really going to like it. And who is the person you served with, Chaps?
A lot of them, honestly.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's pretty cool. You'll have to send me a note of who. And then finally,
Nice man was the platoon sergeant, the main guy, Colbert. He is the one who pulled the round that went through my arm. He pulled it from a wall, brought it to me in a hospital.
Wow.
Very cool. Very cool. And then
my ex-wife threw it away. So
that's not nice.
Mm-mm.
Finally, I just want to give a shout to our friend over at military.com, Hope Hodgesack, who made a big career decision that she's going to be stepping away from military.com to focus on being a mom and being a part of her family. And I applaud her for that. And I would encourage anyone to go read the essay that she wrote about why she made this decision and everything surrounding it. But she's been a great resource for us. Her writing is fantastic. And so many of her stories have been the basis for discussion on our show. So we will certainly miss her.
And I'll say it's a lot harder to, like, if you, and this might come off bad, but if you, I don't care. But if you're not very good at your job and you're not ascending in your career, I think it would be a lot easier to step away from your career and focus on other things. Her story is not that. No. She was ascending. She was doing great things. She recently in the last 2 years got promoted all the way to be the editor of the joint that she was at. And now she's stepping away to focus on other things and focus on things at home. Incredibly difficult decision. And I know she'll have rough days. It really was. And so open and honest. I feel like one of the most personal things ladies and women can do is talk about miscarriages, and doing that in such a profound way, I think is not only going to be cathartic for her to have her story out there, but for so many women who feel the exact same way.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot in there that resonated with me a lot. And it's beautifully written. Check her out on Twitter.
You're not going to resign, are you?
No.
If you're like, and to piggyback off of Hope, I too.
No piggybacking. No, not until maybe the accidental second or accidental third or fourth.
So anyway, best of luck to Hope. All the best. That's all I got.
All right, Kate.
Nothing from me really. I'm heading down the shore this coming week. The next episode you hear, I'll be down in Sea Isle City with my family, and I'm just really excited to spend time. The scene of the crime,
they call it.
The old scene of the crime. I'll be staying in the exact house where this baby was conceived. Very weird thing to say out loud.
No Pepsi for the beef.
Yeah, no, not this time around. But I'm just really excited to hang out with my family. And it's not, last time it was COVID. And so it was just a really weird year. My family does this trip every year. So I'm looking forward to seeing all my cousins and aunts and uncles and actually being able to go in their houses this year and see them and visit with everybody.
What's the status on Party Peg and the chicken parm?
Oh, she'll be she has her house down in Wildwood, but she comes up almost every day when we're in Sea Isle. So we'll be swinging through.
Awesome.
And I've been saving up bricks of milk. I haven't been drunk or buzzed or anything since I had for almost a year. And I've been saving bricks of milk up in the freezer. I'm going to give myself at least one good pina colada day again. I got to have it.
Kid number 2 en route.
Stay tuned. But that's it from me.
Nick.
Had a birthday on Monday, and just want
Yeah.
to shout out my wife. She got, if you guys have saw the cake, she pretty much went all out. Got me a macho man cake. I was pretty much over the moon all day. I didn't need anything else. So
it was a great.
See,
that was an awesome.
That's got to be
cake.
the easiest part about being married to a wrestling head, is that you could just get them essentially anything wrestling, and you just turn back into the little boy version of Nick, where you're like, Macho Man Randy Savage cake, all right.
Yeah, well, then I have to answer all the questions about it all day. So I'm like, yeah, she picked the right photo. This is from 1992, actually, not 95. So it was good, and she always does it right by me, so I appreciate that. So shout out to my wife.
Breaking down his cake like McCartney does their Pokemon cards. You gotta love it. It's a super rare photo, Macho Man. It's so sweet. I love it. I don't really have anything either. Texas needs to get their shit together.
Yeah,
power, rolling powder outages here. Just absolute. If the power goes out again, I'm gonna lose my damn mind. It's too hot. It's too hot to be dealing with all that shit. I want to give myself Firewatch. I will be taking Firewatch Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 02 to 04.
Why?
I made the worst decision I have possibly ever made as an adult in selling my riding lawnmower. Just absolutely foolish.
Yeah.
Foolish.
Why'd you do that?
I don't know. I could have got like a little augment and done like the super hill, like the really steep part with just like a weed eater. And I would have been done in like 15 minutes. But now I'm out there for like 2 hours, like an absolute dickhead. Just the worst.
Well, tell the Navy to develop a Roomba lawnmower. Get on
They
it.
have them. Did you know they have those?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I almost started blogging it the other day, and then I got lazy.
Yeah.
Do they really?
There's a couple different companies that have Roomba grass, and it stays outside, and it can go up to like half an acre, and it'll return back when it needs to charge, and then just keeps going back. And it mows like every 2 days, so it doesn't get super high, and it just does mulching blade. Incredible. But they're like fucking $3,000.
Besides the being $3,000, I think true lawn guys, they would never, because they would say that Roomba is never going to do it as well as I could.
Well, it maps it out like a regular Roomba does. Like it maps it out, so I think your lines could actually be straighter.
Oh,
but I just don't know how long those batteries could possibly last.
No,
because that's a tough job. Like mowing up and down and doing all that shit.
Yeah,
$3,000, man. That's a lot of money to put in for something that you think no way those things last longer than 6 months.
No, definitely not. And one bad rock, and that probably just torches that whole $3,000 piece of machinery.
Imagine, like, could you be so happy I'd be so happy telling my wife, like, oh, good thing up there mowing. I'm not even doing anything.
Yeah.
And then when I come in inside, it's smoking, and I'm like, you were right. This is a bad idea.
This was a bad investment.
Why would you let us do that? Why would you do such a bad idea? I watched 3 Cheat Goof watch Step Brothers on a plane.
Yeah.
Talk about a movie that would not get made today.
Oh, absolutely. If you have time, you got to read the oral history of that. It's very, very interesting to hear all those people talk about the making of that movie and how ridiculous that set was.
It must have been so much fun to be a part of, for sure.
Yeah.
I
was going to say, I'm looking forward to, I think next year I'll probably move out of Hoboken and hopefully buy a house and move to the burbs and become a burbs guy again. Looking forward to mowing my own lawn. I love mowing the lawn.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I got. All right.
All right. That's it. We'll see you guys next week. It's on the retreat.